Hey, what's going on, everybody? Solandia Hammond here, affectionately known as Sue Ham Baby. We are so glad to have you guys back here, man. It is Thursday morning, 7:30 a.m., which means it is coffee chat time. I'm so excited about my guest today. None other than Miss Maggie Cooper, realtor extraordinaire. That's the nickname I dubbed her. How are you doing, Maggie?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Man, I am fantastic. Couldn't be any better. Well, I could be better, but I ain't. I'm good. I'm good. I ain't gonna say it could be worse because I think the only thing worse would probably be being dead, and I don't want to do that. So
That's right. It's a blessing to be alive, honey.
you better know it, and to be alive and well, that's even better. I'm telling you. Maggie, I am sharing this broadcast, and as I share this broadcast, would you just take a moment, maybe 1 to 2 minutes, and tell people who you are?
All right, you guys. Good morning. My name is Maggie Cooper. I am your South Carolina real estate advocate with the brokerage EXP Realty. I have been back in the real estate game since 2019 and been doing it full time ever since then. I love being able to help buyers who never thought it was possible to be able to purchase a home, sellers be able to sell a property. It's a passion of mine. I love what I do, and I'm here to help you guys, be able to accomplish all of your real estate goals and needs. That's who I am in a nutshell.
Awesome sauce. Oh, well, I'm excited to have you here. I'm pulling up my questions because my handy dandy printer acted like it didn't want to be handy dandy this morning. So I got to do it on the cell phone,
Gotcha.
but it is what it is. I know that you are a busy, busy woman. And so I want to go ahead and jump on this bad boy quick because I already know you got appointments already that you got to get to, right? You
Right.
start your day early.
First one at 9 o'clock.
Woo! And you looking sharp, by the way. I love the hair.
Thank you. Love your hair too.
Awesome, awesome. So, everyone, for those of you that are on, whether you're watching it live or watching it on the replay, drop your questions and we'll get back to you. I'm excited to have Maggie on because coffee talk is really just about coffee talk. It's a casual conversation where we interview different guests and find out their insights. They share their tutelage, as well as I have casual conversation with you guys, and we uncover a lot. But this show is so special because it goes back to my original roots, which is mindset and motivation, and it's throwing a little bit of real estate in there as well. So, Maggie, with that being said, do I have your permission to go deep this morning?
Let's go deep.
Let's go deep. And I'm gonna just go ahead and say this is gonna have to be a part two because we don't have enough time. But I do appreciate you squeezing me in this morning. But we definitely gonna have a part two. So do I have your promise to do a part two?
Absolutely.
All right, then let's kick it then. Maggie, you became a mother at the age of 16 years old. Wow.
Yes.
Uh, what was going through your mind at that moment? And tell me, how did becoming a mother at 16 shape your life?
Unexpected. Felt a little like a failure because I know I disappointed my parents and wasn't sure where I was going to end up at. But my failed decisions, because I'm a firm believer of my favorite phrase is trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
So my failures is what made me who I am today. So me being a mother at 16, it made me be a little bit more matured because now I was a teen, but then I had to be a parent too. And couldn't do it all by myself because I didn't know how to be a parent myself. I had the help of my mom. I had a village behind me for sure, great support system. But it did change a lot of things in my life. And it did
Mm-hmm.
made me look at things differently. And again, I felt like I was a failure. Even some obstacles, being 16 in high school, some people who I was friends with, they didn't want to be friends with me anymore because of that. And, it just being that teenage mindset and, and not feeling like, oh, maybe I know I made a mistake, but taking that mistake and turning those lemons into lemonade. So
Yeah, but I mean, you're 16, you're pregnant, you're in school, you're young, you don't even know what you want to do. You don't even really know who you are. You
Hmm.
got people that you thought were your friends turning against you. How did you navigate that? I know you said you had strong people behind you. I'm assuming your mom.
Hmm.
But how did you navigate that? Because your mom wasn't with you in school. So,
No. Just lifting my head up. I think everything, and just like I said, firm believer, everything happens for a reason. Whenever, certain people at like, they couldn't be around me anymore, or they,
mhm.
like I guess it was contagious that, it would pass on to them. I just had to hold my head up. I had to remember who I was. And again, I had a great support system. My mom, whenever I would come home certain time in tears and I would talk to her about certain things, she was always one of my biggest encouragers.
Wow.
So she always told me to keep my head up. Hey, it is what it is. Having a baby is not the worst mistake in the world, and continue to be who you are. And I just started like just being who I am and authentically being friends with more people and kind of going outside that circle. And again, I think
Mm.
that helped shape the person I am today. Not being in this one social circle, I can mingle with anybody and I can be with anybody. But again, all these little small things that happen in my life, struggle or not, it made me and shaped me of who I am today.
I love how you found the flowers in the soil, so to speak. I just
Mhm.
came up with that. Yeah, I like that. Uh,
I like that.
um, how that moment in your life forced you to get out of your familiarity, out of your comfort
Mhm.
zone, and forced you to engage with new people, which we know as a realtor, that is something that you do on a freaking daily basis is engaging with new people, strengthening your pipeline.
Right.
Um, did you have self-esteem problems, confidence problems?
A little bit. Um, some of it formed from, again, this is going all the way back 1998, again, teenager. Thinking I'm, my who I've been pregnant for, that's my first true love. And so it was a lot of things. For one, we start to gain weight when we getting pregnant. It- it's image is a big thing for us in these being ages of 16. And then the person that you love, puppy love, they're not treating you right, they're cheating on you, all of this stuff is going through your head. So like self-esteem issues does take effect. And so
Mhm.
again, who was in my back corner, and thank God, like my mother is everything, because she was that shoulder I could cry on, but then baby, it's gonna be okay. And she was my encourager. She was the person that say, hey, if people make you feel like this, but you're this, you hold your head up. You are somebody. A baby is not the last thing, it's not the worst thing. And she will always remind me of that. And you take your baby, you hold your head up, and you keep climbing the mountain of what's out there for you. And whatever that is, I'm going to support you 100%.
Your mother quit her job to take care of your child because, again, for those of you that's joining us,
Correct.
Maggie is a teenage mom, but she quit her job to take care of your child. What were you thinking in that moment? Were you old enough and did you understand what was happening? Or did you really come to grips about that later on in life that my mom, sacrificed what she had going on to ensure that I could still go to school and become the best version of me I could?
Um, So back then, I don't think I appreciated it as much because I didn't understand. But whenever I look back over it, like the sacrifice she made for me. So just to go back, my son was premature.
Mm,
He was supposed to born in December. He born in September, and so he had to stay in the hospital for a while. And so whenever he came out of the hospital, he could not go to daycare. So he had, because his immune system was low. I was back in school by the time he got out the hospital. And so my mom made the ultimate sacrifice and allowed me to continue to go to school. And she
mm.
quit her job and she came home and took care of my baby all day until my dad came and picked us up from school and took us home. And just that alone, and even once I graduated, she gave me the opportunity to say, hey, Eve, you want to go to college? I'll continue to take care of Mel. But, being the person that I am, I didn't want to put that burden on my mom whenever she was already taking a big burden helping me, because I wasn't working. She was taking care of
Mhm.
my baby, because still
Mhm.
I was a teen mom. So I didn't want to put that burden completely on her. So I decided not to, go off to college. I did decide to just go to a technical college, local college, so I can come home every day and still be able to take care of my baby and, try to be that support that I could be for him. But my mom, again, her making that ultimate sacrifice. And whenever I look back over my life and I look at all of the choices she made because of my poor mistakes, like, I'm so genuinely grateful for her being who she is in my life.
Man, why didn't you just freaking quit? Why not? I
My
mean,
children, my children, like when I tell you my kids are my everything.
and
Um,
how many do you have right now?
Total four.
Four
Th-
kids.
Three boys, one girl.
And why didn't you quit? You said your children?
My children. Like, and just like I
Mm,
said, I didn't stop. 16 had my baby, and by what, 21, 22, I had my second one. As time went on, there go the third one. And by last age of around 33, I had my last one. And so, my children were my biggest motivation. One of the
mm,
main things I would tell my mom all the time, and at a certain time I would just go cry to her. And then I don't want to get emotional
mm,
because it's really touching to me, but like, I did not want to, I hated asking for anything for anybody. Like, I just wanted to be able to have my own. I wanted to just be able to get my kids what I could get them. And so my two oldest, they saw the true struggle. Like, they don't know what spring break vacation is. They didn't know what that was back in the days because I just couldn't afford it. And I probably could have asked my mama, but I didn't want to ask my mama because she was already sacrificing enough. And then my brothers and my other people in my family that helped us too, because it wasn't only my mom. It was a whole village behind the scene, but my mom was that main point of contact pretty much. But my children, and one of the things I will always cry and tell my mom, I just want to be able to take care of my kids without
mm,
nobody else being able to help me, without me having to beg anyone to be there, and be that financial support. So this blessed me to be able to be that financial support for my children, for me to be able to take care of them. I made the decision to bring them here on earth, blessed me to be able to financially be able to take care of them.
mm.
That was my main ultimate goal.
Wow, Maggie, you got me getting a little emotional now. We already agreed we ain't gonna get emotional on here this morning. Wow, that's a good mother's hope is to be able to take care of the children financially, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. So I applaud you on that. And those are four great reasons to never give up, to never quit. Um, However, you did quit something. You were working in the at a bank,
Mm-hmm.
and you decided to go into real estate. And again, at the urging of your mom, you quit your job cold turkey. So you just told us that your biggest thing was to supply every need for your children, but yet you up and quit a job.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about that. And you enter into real estate. Talk to me about that.
So I'm a backtrack because I got into real estate in my early 20s, like 06, 07. Whenever at the time I only had my two older boys, and they were younger. They were the only two. When my mom introduced me to real estate, and she said, if people don't know, middle name Eve, she said, Eve, why won't you go get your real estate license? And I'm like, I don't know, because I ain't no good salesman. I don't want to convince nobody to buy a house. And that's the mindset I had, that I had to convince people to buy a house. And but anyway, she helped me be able to go get my real estate license, and I did back then. Only stayed in it a year, and whenever I stayed in it a year, I got out of it. Because again, mindset is a big thing, and I was not there mentally at
Mhm.
all. Very small mindset. And just going about it the wrong way. So over this course of time, I think I didn't know I didn't have my bachelor's degree yet. So I decided to go back to school, get my bachelor's degree, which was in social work. And then around this time, I think I was working, along came baby number three during this time span. And from baby number three, I said, okay, I got to get a good enough job. So I think I went and started at Assurant around that time. And while I was working at Assurant, I wasn't at Assurant long. And that's whenever someone told me about JP Morgan Chase. And during this time, I had already got my bachelor's, and I was contemplating going to get my master's. And so I did end up landing the job at JP Morgan Chase, which was awesome. And so it did give me that financial stability to be able to help me take care of my three children.
Mhm.
And because during that time frame as a single mom, um, it did help me be able to build my capital a little bit, to be able to kind of keep my head above the water. And during this time, I did pursue my master's degree, and I got that in human resource management. So fast forward during this time, whenever I think I left JP Morgan Chase, I end up going to Caliber. They go baby number 4. None made it here. And so I do end up finishing with my human resource degree in the master's, and I'm trying to find a job. And no job, every job I'm applying for, because I had the degree, but I had no experience. And it was a pay cut. And I was making pretty decent back then. It was around, I think I was around at probably $23 an hour. God has blessed me to be able to purchase my first home as a single mother. I got, my car. I'm keeping, everything is okay, but I'm not where I want to be. Like, I don't have savings where I want it to be. I'm not able to do the things that I want to do without seeming like it's a sacrifice. Like, I got to come back and try to dig myself out of a hole if I was to go and take me and my kids on a vacation or something. And I was like, that's living mediocre. And I know that there's something better for me. And I didn't know what that better was. And during this time, everybody know I started this boutique, Posy Collections, and that started putting me out there where people started kind of knowing me more. But trust the process. And I'm that firm believer, that same phrase. And so I think that was a stepping stone to allow me to be who I am and allow people to get to know me who didn't know me. Also, being at Caliber, my manager, I don't know why she selected me, because they started putting a lot of jobs, outsourcing them to overseas or whatever. And we would have our morning calls every Monday morning. And she said, Maggie, I want you to take over those calls and lead those calls. And I said, me? And so why me? Like, but anyway, make a long story short, I came home and I started looking at how to speak professionally, how to speak like I know what I'm talking about, like how to speak and not speak nervous, and those things. And so the first one I did, my manager said, well, you didn't do bad, but next time slow down. Make sure you be prepared, have your notes, like just don't talk so fast, and that stuff prepared me for what was next, that I didn't know what was next. And it's all in God's timing. You get what I'm saying? And so again, not being where I want to be, coming home complaining to my mom, like, mama, it's got to be something else. I'm listening to YouTube videos while I'm at work. What do successful people do? How to become an entrepreneur, how to move like a boss, but didn't know how I was going to be a boss. Started learning about affirmations during that time. Coming home, speaking affirmations every day. One of the 2 main affirmations on there is that I want to be a full entrepreneur by the time I turn 40, and I want to make 6 figures. Those was 2 of the things that I would speak every day. And talking to like family and friends. I have a cousin named Dion, my mom. They both say, well, Eve, why won't you get back into real estate? They both mentioned that. And then it's just crazy that a coworker, we was talking one day and she mentioned real estate. And I'm like, my family just was telling me that I need to probably go back into real estate. And so I said, if the opportunity ever presents itself, I'll go for it. And I did some research, found a school that was able to work with my work schedule, because still I had to work. I had bills, I had responsibilities. And I found a school that would allow me to go over to classes on Friday evenings. And I went to classes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I was right back to work on Monday.
Wow.
And that school was down in Myrtle Beach. And I made the sacrifice, and I buckled down, and I studied hard. And I end up getting my real estate license. And my plans, which was not God's plans, my plans were to do real estate part-time until I was able to build my business up and get it going. And when I told my manager, because anytime we got any part-time jobs or whatever, we always had to tell our manager about it. So for whatever reason, that was one of the policies. And I did end up telling my manager. And when I told my manager, she was like, Maggie, that's a conflict of interest. And I was like, what you mean? I said, we don't do any open mortgages. Everything we do is mortgages that are already closed. And how can me as a real estate agent conflict with a closed mortgage? Like, I couldn't understand it. And she was like, well, let me look into it. I'll get back to you. She came back to me around lunchtime and she said, unfortunately, Maggie, head office said it is a conflict of interest. If you want to continue to keep your job here, you will have to keep your license deactive. You would have to keep them deactivated. But if you do activate them, unfortunately, you would be fired immediately. And she was like, we would need to know something today. So I went outside, devastated, called my mom in tears. And I'm like, Mom, I fight so hard. I think I'm getting closer to something. And now it's like I'm backtracking. How do I even make this right? And, my mom was like, Eve, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I'm going to call you back. So I sit in the car. Like 5 minutes later, she calls me back and she said, Eve, quit.
Mm.
And I said, Mama, what? I said, Mom, I got a mortgage. I got children. I got a car note. I got a light bill. I got to keep grocery on the table. Like how? What is you saying? She said, Eve, I know you just because you ain't still too long started your 401k because I didn't start it as soon as I switched over from JP Morgan and Caliber. I didn't start it as soon as I started. I had started like maybe 2 years prior. She said, whatever you got in there, pull it out, pay your bills up as
Wow.
much as you can. Go
Your
ahead.
mother said quit
Mm-hmm.
and pull your money out and
Mm-hmm.
go into real estate.
Yep. Pay my bills up. And I was able to pay them up for 3 months. And I just had to go in like full throttle. And I had to give it my all. And everything happened like it was divine. Like, again, how my manager letting me do those calls, it prepared me. Because one of the things my broker told me once I got my job, you had this like regular like little area where everybody sit at, and I was at a table talking to somebody, and she was like, Maggie, you talk like you've been doing this forever. But look how God prepared me, how my manager coached me and put me in that position, but it was all God's plan, all his divine plan that I didn't understand, And even soon as I got into the game, Melissa Floyd, she came to me and she said, Maggie, will you be my first mentee? Because she was starting a coaching program. And first I said no, because I'm like, I need all my money because I got to pay all my bills. But I had to go back and listen to what do all successful people have? They got a mentor.
Mentors.
Mm-hmm. They got them. And I
Yeah.
had to I go back to her and I said, I'll do it, and that was one of the best decisions I made because it gave me that foundation. And so I would highly recommend anybody who's wanting to get into the real estate game, get that mentor so you can get that foundation. Because once you get that foundation, nobody can never take that away, but you got to keep building on it.
Man, I got 7 minutes left with you because I know you got to get to an appointment. So I want to go real deep with you. All right. So you had a child at 16. By the age of 28, 30, you have 4 children now. You bounced around in and out of college to get your degree, went from different jobs. Finally, you say, I want more. You have your real estate license. You was in it for a year. You left, went to a job. You keeping your real estate license active. You just figure you do it part-time. Your boss says, hey, choose.
No. Pause. I let real estate go altogether.
Let it go altogether.
But when I got it in 06, 07, I let it go altogether. So I had to go all the way back to school and take everything back over.
Okay, so you did that, the sacrificing, going back and forth from Myrtle Beach, working a full-time job, and then boom, the supervisor comes in and say, hey, it's either or, because it is a conflict for you to work here and to have your real estate license. You call your mom, you tell her, mom says, take the little bit of money you have in 401k and quit, pursue real estate full-time, and you do that. Mm-hmm. And now today, you are top 1% producing agent in the state of South Carolina. I think you put something up about 2 months ago. What rank are you in the entire United States?
Well, that's what EXP.
For EXP?
Andrew, my brother from another mother. Mm-hmm. I didn't even notice. He keep up with all of these numbers, but he sent me a screenshot where out of all of EXP agents all across the world, I was number 122.
Wow.
Because they put like the top 250 agents within the company. And so that's major just for me to be in the number,
That is freaking major. Well, let's go back now. It's major for you to be a top 1% producing agent in the state of South Carolina. Let's not gloss over that, because you just got back into the game in 2020. I
2019. Mm-hmm.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you've been going real strong. You're closing consistently between 50 to 70 loans a year consistently. And now to be ranked out of all EXP agents in the world, number 101, man, come on, somebody. Come
Thank you.
on, somebody. From a
Thank
teenage mom, 16 years old, and your dream was to, I just want to, provide for my children, you know, from that to now, I think you've done well. Not only that, you have mentees of your own now. You were once a mentee of Melissa Floyd. Now you have mentees of your own. You have your own team, Coopers and Company. You also do staging, which I know you'd be trying to get out of that.
you.
Um, you are an inspiration to not just teenage girls, but to adult women like myself. I'm 51, you way younger than me. And you are, every time I talk to you, I'm like boss, because I really believe that. And because I think that you are extraordinary. I think that your life is favored. I think that you're a mogul. So from teenage mom to mogul, how does that feel now? What would you tell your 16-year-old self?
When and just like Sue, whenever we talk, whenever you call me boss and you say these things, like I'm like, I don't be looking at myself like that. I mean, I know I've come such a long way. I've grown from where I have been, but I still feel like I got so much far more ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thankful, and I will always be humble to it, because it didn't come easy. But I'm thankful that God blessed me with the opportunity to be in the space with like-minded people like you and other individuals that, like, I can move like how I'm moving. And I do look back and like, God, this thing is really happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it certain times I get tingles in my chest and knots in my stomach, not of being nervous, but of just being like, but God, you really doing doing this thing, because this is something that I only imagined. Like, I wanted to be here and you got me here, but the story doesn't stop yet, because there's so much more that I want to do, and there's so much more that I want to be able to accomplish. And one of the biggest things that is so humbling is, like, my oldest son, like, he thinks he's my brother, and he'll tell me, I'm proud of you, mama.
Oh, wow.
Because he remembered the struggle. He remembered the struggle, and he was
Mm.
there from the beginning. So he know whenever things light. You get what I'm saying? And like my second oldest, he was there too, but he don't remember
Wow.
as much. But the oldest, he definitely remember. And for him to say, "Mama, I'm proud of you,"
Wow.
is that means a lot. It's very humbling, and I just want to be that example for them and an example for others, that hey, if I can do it, you can do it too, because who am I? I ain't nothing special. But if hard work, determination, not giving up, because it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? We make this thing look easy. It ain't easy. We have sleepless nights because I take this
Yeah.
thing really personal. And my clients are my babies, and whenever they ain't being treated right, I want to make sure that they're right. And so it's a lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realize that goes on to keep everything sound. But I don't even remember what the question was, Sue, but
The question was, what would you tell your 16-year-old self right now? And I think you pretty much answered it. Is I think, like, keep going. It gets better.
Mhm.
This is not the end of your story, and you're still writing your story.
Right. And trust the process. Like, that's my
Yeah.
main thing. Like, whenever I look over my life, everything that I thought that I got upset that didn't go this way or that way, it made me who I am. All of my children made me who I am. The relationship with their father, like, even though that was, I felt like, was not such a toxic relationship, but if my babies wouldn't be here without him.
Mm.
My babies is everything. You get what I'm saying? Everything
Yes.
happened for a reason. So yeah, that's my biggest thing, is like, everything happens for a reason, and trust the process. And now, if you do right, you be right, and you remember who God is in your life, everything will go like how it planned, but you have to put in the work too.
Come on, somebody. All right. Oh gosh, it's 8 o'clock, but I got to ask you two more questions, and these are quick answers. This is a fun part of this show.
I'm gonna try.
This has been a deep show. We're going to definitely have to do a part two. Please, if you just popping on, go back and watch it from the beginning. You'll be glad you did. All right. Which one? Pick one: real estate or reality show. What
Real
would you
estate.
star in?
Real estate.
Real estate. Real estate. I figured that. Who and or what inspires you?
My children.
Awesome. One meal you can cook with your eyes closed.
None. None.
Okay. What's one meal you cook often then? How about that?
I don't know. I guess it's easy. Mama done taught me how to make some good old oh, I can cook pretty good cabbage. My cabbage is
Okay.
good. People like my cabbage.
Oh, that's a good meal. All right. Pick one. What's your go-to move in the morning? Prayer, planning, planner. I'm sorry, prayer, planner, or podcast?
Prayer.
Awesome. Yes,
Starts
yes,
the
yes.
tone, makes the day go right.
Awesome. Can you give me this in 30 seconds? How has social media helped shape your brand and your story?
Um, ugh. I struggle with social media. I do. So whenever it comes, I feel like I don't post like I should, but it does give people the opportunity to see my work. If I keep putting it out there, they see what I'm doing. They know people who know me. I'm from small town Lake City. Some people know that, hey, I have all these children. But whenever they see what I'm doing, I feel like it motivates people to do it too. And I'm sorry, that's my email going off. Sorry, sorry.
We didn't hear. I got to say this though. Many people don't know that you have four beautiful children. Many people don't know that you were a teenage mom. Many people just know they see successful Maggie Eve Cooper. And like you said, Michael Jordan said it best. Michael Jordan said, "Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I made it look too easy."
Mhm.
They didn't see the reps he put in. They didn't see him getting up early. They didn't see him eating healthy. And so a lot of people see you closing 50 to 70 units a year and they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And you and I have talked sometimes 2 and 3 times a day. You
Mhm.
know, it's a lot to be successful. And so, I always want you to know that. And I always give you your flowers. And I always tell you, Maggie, you inspire me. And it's not to blow your head up. It's because it's God's honest truth, because you are trying to balance, which I don't really think that there's really balance in life, a whole lot that's going on, from being a mom to running multiple businesses to advocating for your clients, to giving back to your community. And so that is a major thing, man. And so I just want to say thank you. So I wish you could see yourself as we see you. We see you as a mogul, a mogul, a mogul. And I
Just like
think,
very humbling. Because I don't see myself as that. I just see myself as, this I'm still out here trying to make
well,
it.
well, and I'm glad you're humble like that, because you attract a lot of people to you. And like I told you before, more people need to hear your story because it is going to save a lot of people. People are saying this is very inspiring. They're saying yes, they're agreeing. We got to get you back on. We got to let you go. So tell everybody how they can reach out to you, whether they want to book you as a speaker, whether they want to learn more about real estate, whether they want to list their home with you or sell their home with you. Tell them how they can find you. As my brother say, my brother always picks on me because when we do our videos together, I'm always like, Maggie, tell the people where they can find you. Tell the
And
people where they can find you, Maggie.
so yes, I can be reached on all my social media platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Maggie Cooper Realtor. You can also call me on my cell. It is 843-687-1730. If I don't answer, shoot me a quick text. I will try my best to get back to you. And you can shoot me an email at Maggie Cooper Realty, and that's at gmail.com. I am here to help you accomplish all of your real estate goals and needs. And to you, Sue, thank you for allowing me to be on your platform. You inspire me more than you know. It's just crazy how we came into each other paths, and how like you like my big sister from another mother. So, and I appreciate you for being who you are in my life, and you encouraging me and helping me step outside of the box on things. So kudos to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate those flowers. I received them and I'm smelling them and they smell great. All right, guys, I gotta let her go. She gotta go. We'll get her back. Tune in next week Thursday, 7:30 a.m. And also, Maggie Cooper and I have a special loan program that we're going to unleash, and we're going to do a special webinar. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, guys, stay blessed, man. You're looking for a mortgage, you're looking to refinance or purchase, please hit us up at loanswithsuham.com. You can book a free loan consultation. It costs you nothing. So Maggie, thank you. Stay favored, stay blessed, stay helping the people. We'll see you. We'll see you around in
Thank
these
you guys. Bye bye.
real estate streets.
I
Peace
know,
out,
look,
y'all.
I got to get on the road now.
All right. Bye
Bye.
bye.